who better than me?
Welcome back to another episode of the Hardcore Casual with your boy, Bass the Kid. As I always say, please like and subscribe. Thank you to the new subscribers who are rocking with me currently. Click the notification just so you get the updates, Got a few decent things I want to touch on today, so without further ado, let's get the show on the road. So let me start with the breaking news. Saturday the 5th of March will no longer be the trilogy fight between Chocolatito Gonzalez and Juan Francisco Estrada. And yes, I'm putting Chocolatito's name first because he won that second fight and was robbed. But Estrada ducked out, saying that he's suffering post symptoms of COVID that he had back in, when was it, October, I think, because this fight initially was supposed to be happening, I think it was around October, and then he must have caught COVID, so they pushed it back to March, and apparently he's not performing as they would like in the gym. If you want me to be real, I think he's ducking the match because he knows he was lucky to get the decision last time, and Chocolatito was gonna whoop the ass this time, 100%. I think Estrada knew he was gonna get knocked out, so he tried to run. But Martinez is coming up from flyweight to superfly to take on Chocolatito instead. Now, in terms of replacements, it's a great fight. I mean, personally, I think Chocolatito is gonna knock him out because Martinez, he's good, he's powerful and all that, but he's very crude. And Chocolatito is just, I feel like he's too skillful, too good coming forward with the pressure. 41 knockouts in, what is it, like 52 fights, something like that. Had more knockouts than Martinez has had fights. I just don't see this going well for Martinez at all, but you know what? I like it, and I definitely will be tuning in. And I'm gonna say it right here, right now, because I'm tired, so I ain't even got time to be political. Juan Francisco Estrada's a pussy. Try to know I said that. He ain't want that work. But yeah, that's that one. Moving on. Now, I've got absolutely no idea why, but I can't lie, I'm here for it. Audley Harrison has been on mad smoke over the last few days, calling out man like Carl Froch. And to be fair, Froch deserves to be called out because, like, he can be a bit of an arsehole. But talking about how man used to have panic attacks and be crying in the locker room until Audley's the one that gave him the, sort of the mental coaches to change his mindset and everything, and that's how he became a stone cold killer. It was like, right, telling all the home truths, but I mean, hey, it is what it is, isn't it? Called out Frank Warren's, like, are you even still relevant? Like, what you still doing here? I was like, okay, he's on Twitter just letting off shots at anyone. And I remember was it James Edwards was the other guy, the quote unquote journalist that tried to throw shots as well, and then got tore up. I was like, okay, like, all right, Audley, do your thing. He must have been hanging around David Hay a bit too long, because it's been a while since Audley was talking this kind of crud. Maybe he's looking to make some form of comeback. I know he said he did an interview with Coogan. As far as I'm aware, it ain't dropped yet, but probably will be dropping today. So, boy, let's see what happens there. But alright, Audley, I see you. Like, gave me some entertainment on the Twitter yesterday, so all good. I was tempted to do a reaction video to Gary Russell Jr. taking his second loss of his career over the weekend against Mark Gonzalez, but I couldn't be bothered. It wasn't really a big enough situation. The only thing I say is that it looks as if his stranglehold on that WBC belt is now over with. I don't really see he'll be able to get the rematch, and even if he does, it's gonna be after what, another 2 years, because he's got to have surgery on his arm. He only fights once a year anyway. Add an extra sort of 5, 6, 7 months of rehab to that. What's that taking us into? Just before 2022? I mean 2023, sorry. Like, so what, by the start of 2024 he'll be ready? By that time man will be long gone. There was no rematch clause because it was a mandatory, so oh well. Now we just need for the WBA to hurry up and get rid of Leo Santa Cruz so that like the featherweight division can actually get decent unifications again. But you know, I mean, I commend him though. One thing I will say, man got injured quite early in that fight. I mean, he told people he was carrying an injury from before the fight, so realistically at that point everyone should have put their bets on Magsayo. I said to my peoples in the group chat that Magsayo was gonna win, but I just, for some reason, I didn't put no money on it. So yeah, probably I'm about 20-30 pound down from where I could have been based on that, but it is cool. But he did well to get through the fight, and yeah, he did, you know, he made it competitive with when it was just the one arm, and it was okay with the two. But Magsayo just pretty much had everything on him. He had height, he had reach, he had youth, like probably a bit of stamina as well, even though Gary Russell is a beast, like stamina wise. But yeah, like that happened, and boy, like I said, on to the next one. Hopefully Wood Conlon can be for the proper super championship. I'm gonna be at that fight, so it will make it a bit nicer for myself and my boys when we roll up. But yeah man, I mean, them's the breaks, but that's what happens when you only fight once a year, or in this case once every 2 years. Is what it is. He'll be back, maybe, probably won't. Now this next situation is mad funny, but I can't even say funny haha, because I knew that Tank Davis's next fight was going to be against Rolly Romero. It made sense. His last fight was supposed to be against him. Then the allegations happened and they decided to pull him out of the fight, you know, and then he had to fight Isaac Cruz. So you just knew as soon as man got cleared, they was just gonna run that back. You know, they was getting ready, they had it amped up for the press conferences and everything already, so it just made sense. But what's mad funny about that is the WBA order the fight. Like, you're ordering the regular champion to fight Rolly, who's not a mandatory for the belt. From what I can I don't even know who the mandatory for that title was supposed to be, but how could it be Rolly when he hasn't fought in over a year? And you've got other people within your stable in that, what weight are they fighting at? They're fighting at lightweight. You've got other people in the lightweight stable for the WBA who have been more active more recently. So how is Rolly being called as the mandatory for the regular? Like, the WBA do a madness. Whenever you think, oh, they're trying to clean shit up and they're getting act together, they just go and do a next madness to just overwrite the previous good that they was doing, to make you feel like, no. Again, I mean, it's not something I'm gonna lose any sleep over, because I knew the fight was gonna happen. I'm just confounded. I'm dumbfounded at how it's been ordered. Like, how is that a fight you're ordering? But that's going to be the next pay-per-view extravaganza for the PBC and TMT promotions, isn't it? Let's see what the numbers are like on that one. See, the previous one was what, 65,000? This one might be a little bit bigger if Rolly does some stupid shit in between. Maybe talks up a madness. 80,000 maybe. Prediction, I'm gonna say 80,000. Maximum 90. If it goes above that, I'm gonna be shocked. If it goes above that, I'm not recording any videos for... Nah, forget that. Like, my takes are too important, innit? I'm messing, but nah. All jokes aside, yeah, it was an inevitable situation just for a dumbass reason. WBA, like, he was doing alright work, fix up, innit? We move on. You got Ryan Garcia chatting shit again. He was on, I think he was on Twitter the other day saying that George Kambosos Jr. should fight him next instead of anyone else. I mean, I could see possibly how that would make sense to George, because that's an easy fight back. But Ryan ain't going Australia, I know that for a fact. But even outside of that, like, the last time you fought was January 2021. Like, what have you done to earn that title fight? When it's quite clear you ain't fighting for titles, because you had title opportunities to fight for the WBC belt against Devin Haney earlier on in 2021, and you then decided to go duck that to talk about a Pacquiao fight, to talk about a Tank Davis fight, to then talk about a Jojo Diaz fight, to only go and then cite mental health injuries and hand injuries and all other sorts of madness like that. Like, at this point, no one ain't taking him that seriously. His followers who follow him on social media, I don't even think they know about his boxing career, truth be told, so they're probably not even looking at him like that. But I don't think anyone in the boxing world can be taken that seriously, if they got any credibility at all. Like, and the whole Four Kings, Fabulous Four, like, you know, the Freebirds and all that sort of, all that bullshit, like, let's dead that as well, because ain't none of them man really on nothing except Haney and Lomachenko. And realistically, as much as he's, you know, he's trying, Haney ain't really done nothing to really put his name in that conversation. Kambosos is starting a bit of bullshit at the minute, but I'll give it to him because he's a new champ, but he still looks like he wants to be active and wants to be back out in May. So I'm gonna let him slide just a little bit for now. But yeah, that there were so many dope fights that could have happened in that division, and ain't none of them taking place. So yeah, it's not really something I'm gonna, again, it's not something I'm gonna lose sleep over. I just find it funny, like, Ryan Garcia's out here talking a madness but can't do a madness, or at least not the right type of madness. You know, it's... Anyway, moving on. Okay, so now let's address this whole AJ, Usyk, Fury, White, Stepaside, not Stepaside saga that's been going on. So on Monday, Gareth A. Davis put out a story saying that Joshua was to agree a £15 million Stepaside, and then supposedly it was also came out that Dillian Whyte was supposed to accept a £5 million Stepaside to, you know, for the Undisputed to take place. Now last week we did hear from Eddie Hearn saying that there were people who were invested in the Undisputed fight happening, and they were actively trying to see if there was a way it could happen. Frank Warren's ultimately said similar things, and Bob Arum said similar things. So then AJ comes out later on in when was it? It was in the afternoon. Yeah, like early afternoon, on his Snapchat, I believe. I don't use Snaps, I wouldn't know, but he basically put up the message basically saying, oh, like, people are saying something from an interview, saying that, you know, that they've got quotes from me from interview. But I'm like, well, where'd you get those quotes from? Because I ain't do no interviews, you know. But then, as far as I'm concerned, like, AJ's smart, right? I'm not saying he's like super smart, but he's clued on and he definitely knows what he's saying when he's saying it. So the fact that he said, if I remember correctly, and again I'm tired, so I could get the quote slightly wrong, but he said, don't listen to the bullshit until it comes from me. Right? That line to me is very telling. So basically he's saying, don't listen to the bullshit until I'm ready to tell you about the bullshit. Because if he meant anything other than that, why didn't he say, unless you hear directly from me what's going on, then nothing's going on. Anything else is fake news. Unless you hear it come from me, it's fake news. He didn't say that. He said, don't feed into the bullshit until I tell you. Or words to that effect. Because I could be misquoting him slightly right here. Like I said, I don't quite remember it off the top of my head. I'm tired. But the key words in there was, like he said, until I tell you, or until it comes from me. So he didn't say unless. If he said unless it comes from me, that means I'm dismissing any and everything that's being said. But because he said until, that basically means that something is in the pipeline, but we just don't need to know about it yet. There's a rollout that's about to happen, and man's just waiting for all the media obligations to be in effect so he can get to speaking on what he wants to speak on. So right now, realistically, it looks as if AJ's going to take the Stepaside money. And you know what? Here's one thing, right? I, in the first instance, would have totally agreed with taking the Stepaside money. Purely because, number one, I think Usyk's just better than him. I think Usyk has his number right now, and he needs to be able to develop different game plans and work with a coach that will be able to implement different things into his arsenal that will make him able to maneuver against the kind of things that Usyk brings. Because clearly his size and strength advantage doesn't really mean much to Usyk. He's dealt with that before numerous times before. And AJ's style currently is a very classically trained style in Britain, you know, and Usyk has been around the amateur scene for so long. He's seen all the British styles, the European styles, the American styles, the Asian styles, like, you know, when you're talking about, you know, the Kazakhs and you know, and sort of that era. Like, he's seen pretty much all of it and he's battled all of it. So he knows how to work his way around everything. He knows how to adjust on the fly, how to switch up his game plan. Something just AJ just doesn't quite know how to do. It seems like once he's got the game plan, that's the game plan. It doesn't switch. When it's not going right, he still sticks with it until someone tells him to do something different. Amir Khan's a little bit like that as well, which is why he had trouble in a lot of the fights where he started getting clipped, because once a person adjusted on him, he wasn't able to readjust himself and make the necessary changes, hence getting beat. But yeah, I personally think AJ ain't ready for him, plus the team's not in order and all that. So yeah, I would say Stepaside's correct. But the problem now, if he takes a Stepaside, he looks like the biggest dickhead going, because he's the one talking earlier on about, I'm a throwback fighter, I'm a warrior, man them telling me I should step aside. Like, who are they? They clearly ain't cut from the same cloth I'm cut from. They're not, you know, they're not the kind of man I want to be associated with. What kind of heart have they got? Rare. Like, don't come to me with no step aside, but with my business hat, da. So basically, you've painted yourself as this guy where step aside is basically almost like disrespecting your mum to your face kind of thing. And, you know, everyone knows within the community, like, talking about the mum is the sore spot for everyone, innit? Well, for the majority of people. I can't vouch for every single person, but that's the spot that you know that you get a reaction. More time than not, you'll get a reaction from someone. So, or the grandma, something, you know, it's one or the other. Now, he made it seem as if step aside is that level of disrespect towards him, yeah? So if he takes step aside now, he just looks like he looks contradictory. He almost looks worse than Tyson Fury. Because at least with Tyson Fury, like, we're just used to the mad contradictions every second. But we know that they're coming. And his credibility is like in the toilet for things that he says. But just because he managed to still keep the zero, and he's got one or two wins that have aged very well, all of a sudden it's like, oh well, yeah, but he's Tyson, you know, he is what he is. Cool. AJ's held to a different standard, and that's something he needs to remember. Like, whatever he's doing, he needs to remember that his standard that he's being held to is different than every other man, because he's been given a platform that most of these men never got. So when they do certain things for attention, people kind of understand it. Oh, he's the underdog or whatever. But AJ's the golden child. So his word is gospel. His word needs to be cleaner than clean. The same thing kind of happened to Lennox Lewis. Like, when he was basically given the keys to the kingdom, even though people didn't give him his flowers, like, when they should have, realistically. But like, he had to be better. He had to say things different. No matter what he'd done, he was criticized or, you know, chastised about it a lot more than, say, if Mike Tyson did it, or if Holyfield did it, or, you know, Buster Douglas or Oliver McCall. Like, it was always different for Lewis, because he just had a different aura about him, especially being the Olympian and just sort of being that guy as well. So it's, yeah, I mean, okay, it's a bit unfair that you can't say one thing now and then change your mind and not be viewed like a clown like Fury can, but that's the life you chose. So, boy, like I said, if he takes a step aside, personally, I think it's the right choice, but it still makes him look like a dickhead. And I guess he's just got to decide if he's mentally strong enough to take that, because we all know that he's clearly made it obvious to people that mentally he's not as strong as maybe we all believed him to be. Like, he's got a lot of frailties in there. You know, people's words can get to him, and I think people's perceptions of who he is means a lot to him, especially now that he kind of seems to think of himself as a brand more than just a person. So clearly, you know, you want your brand to be associated with positive stuff and not negative stuff. And maybe this is just one of them situations where, yeah, the brand might take a bit of a knocking. So if you take that step aside money, then you just got to do whatever you do straight after that to make sure that it was worth it. Take a next big fight, or take one or two different fights against a couple tune-ups with the new team. Like, maybe take them off pay-per-view. Maybe go to DAZN and make those two fights just DAZN exclusives, rather than, you know, doing the whole pay-per-view thing and making people pay for quote-unquote substandard opponents, even if they are in the top 15. You know what I mean? So, like, that's my take on that one personally. With regards to Tyson Fury and his videos and whatever, like, I could care less. You don't know how I feel about Fury anyway. Straight dickhead. Like, no time for him. I think he's overrated. I think, yeah, he might be number one currently just due to circumstances, but he's a smoke and mirrors man. When you really start peeling back the layers, he's not as good as he seems to be. He just seems to be very good at catching certain people at the right time, or getting in certain people's head. It's my opinion. Like, that's how I feel about it. Dillian White chimed in. I mean, I don't really understand what he was doing on Insta, just looking all sweaty and in the camera, not saying anything, with a caption of, oh, I'm tired of the bullshit, like, I just want to fight, I just want war. I mean, I get that, but for everyone else is talking at this point, it's time for you to say something, or just like be distant. Or if you're gonna have your upload, like, literally upload anything that's just not to do with boxing at all, especially if you're, you know, trying not to do the whole incriminating stuff for the WBC arbitration that's going on. Because I've heard from other channels that part of the reason he ain't said nothing yet is because he doesn't want anything he says to negatively impact what's going on in the arbitration. So I get that, but if that's the case, literally just stay away from anyone and anything to do with what's going on in the current situation, just until it all gets resolved. But the purse bid is supposed to be happening today. What time is it supposed to happen? Is it 6 o'clock, 6 p.m, like UK time, which is what, 1 o'clock US, what's that, Eastern time, and then it's like 8 o'clock Pacific, something like that. So I mean, look, it's gonna be interesting. I'm definitely keeping an eye on the situation, but overall it's not something that I'm not invested in it like that. Like I'm very level in this situation. Like, I'm not on Joshua's side, I'm not on Usyk's side, I'm not on White's side, I'm not on Fury's side. At this whole point, that's the easiest way for me to keep sort of my mental stability. I'm just here seeing how things unfold, and then when the outcomes actually happen, and because there's no point in me being invested in a situation that hasn't happened yet. Like, once the situation has happened, then I'll give my takes, like my proper takes on who's who and what's what. But either way, that whole thing just needs to be dealt with like ASAP. Get it over and done with, just so we know what we're doing. We can all move on. We can all work towards the next, you know, sort of the next scandal, the next big thing to come out. Actually, before I go, let me, funny enough, just address Conor Benn and Frank Warren seem to be having a nice little war of words at the moment. And I kind of respect it, because Conor's out here, you know, he's telling Frank, look, at the end of the day, don't be telling me about Avanesian when, you know, you didn't want to give me Jenkins for the British title. You vetoed that fight, but now you're telling me that I must do your team favors. You know, and then Frank's obviously talking about Eddie with the Boazzi offer, which obviously, yeah, okay, I knew it was bullshit. But then talking, oh, bro, Boazzi, let him fight Callum Johnson instead. Bro, why let him fight Callum Johnson? Let Yard fight Callum Johnson. Them two ain't fought yet. I mean, if Callum Johnson was supposed to have the Joe Smith Jr. fight and then ended up catching the COVID, it's only right that if he's your fighter, you let him fight Yard, innit? Let the two of them fight, and then the winner of that one goes on to have the final fight with Joe Smith Jr., as was supposed to happen in the first place. Because it was supposed to be Johnson against Smith, and then the winner of that fight was supposed to fight Yard. Well, now you just flip it around. Okay, so Yard and Johnson, and then the winner of that fight fights Joe Smith. Like, why is Yard just going straight into the quote-unquote title fight, if it happens, off the back of, like, what, one decent victory, which I still say is Commonwealth level? Like, I'm not jumping from that stance at this point. There's no one else on Yard's record apart from Lyndon Arthur that we can say was a credible win. However many learning fights he had on the come up, yeah, cool, he had those learning fights, but there's been no other decent level opponent. You can't tell me that one decent win after two losses in what, it was like 2 losses in the last 5 fights or something like that. You can't tell me one decent win after that like puts you in the #1 position without doing something of note. So I personally think Yard should be fighting Johnson next. And on the other side, you know, I'm not getting, like I said, I don't give Boazzi no pass anyway. He needs to handle that Vlasov work that he ducked. If I'm being, okay, you know what? If y'all don't want to fight Johnson, I think Boazzi should fight Johnson as well. I'm being real, I will, as much as I don't like Frank, that is fine. Because as we all know, or as some people know, Boazzi ducked Johnson back in the day too. Made Johnson vacate the British title so that he could win it off of Liam Conroy. Yeah, but even the Craig Richards fight, I mean, yeah, I do want to see it, but I understand why, if I was Craig, I'm not taking that right now, because when it was time for me to fight him, he didn't want to fight me. He got rid of his title just so he didn't have to fight me. And now there's nothing on the line, you know, when my career's on the line, you just want to put me in that situation. Like, no, like, let me go fight who I need to fight to put myself in world contention, and let him fight a step-up fight finally, like a proper step-up. Not against a guy that's got 5 losses on the record already, 3 of which, or 4 of which was already by knockout. You know what I mean? So I agree with that overall, but I'm gonna leave that one there. Let's end this one. Like I said, I'm tired. I need to edit this quickly. I gotta go get some rest. I gotta be up. I gotta be up early to go do some little bits and pieces. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. Hope everyone's enjoyed. As I said, please like and subscribe, and hit the notifications. And tell a friend to tell a friend, and tell a friend to tell an enemy. Tell the enemy to. Though they can tell whoever they want, because I don't really know how that one translates. But yeah, like I said, peace and love. Thanks very much for watching. Oh, before I go, big up to Fight Fan TV. Just started their podcast called The Neutral Corner. First episode's up now. I believe the second episode is coming either today or tomorrow, and they got special guest Chris Congo as their very first guest on the very second episode. So big up to them, doing their thing. Much salute. And if you want to see me next before the next video drops, I will be on Maestro A Boxing's channel on, I believe it's a round table. I will be on there Thursday night live. Well, for us it will be Friday morning, but in the US it's Thursday night. I'll be on there with a bunch of other esteemed panelists. I think Joe Habib will probably be on there, and a couple others. I don't know the lineup yet, but you can catch me on there. That will be 1 o'clock UK time, 1 a.m. and it's like 7 or 8 p.m. US time. Anyway, you can catch me on that as well. But right now, Hardcore Casual out.